just want to get some coffee or something.
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee! Coffee, 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 coffee!
God damn, Jimmy. This is some serious gourmet shit. Me and Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us.
Biggity, 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 biggity. I'm sorry, I'm talking like Grape Ape now.
Still waking up, huh?
Fuck this morning. Greetings, everybody. Hello, welcome to another fucking day of this week. Oh, it's so snowy today. We got snow. Did you get snow, John?
Yep, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's we got about, I think, 5 or 6 inches here. I think everything's covered. I woke up, walked to where my the bathroom is, and got to look out onto the back of the house, and I'm like, everything's white. Awesome. Because the first thing I think is, boy, it's going to be so nice in the studio today. Won't be freezing at all. So I've got the heater right next to me, about a foot away.
Yeah, we only got maybe an inch, if that.
Kind of underselling it, baby.
No snow over here. Well, not on the coast.
That was a penis joke, honey.
Phrasing.
I know. I'm not even reacting to it.
Yeah, that's the wrong thing to do with me, because then I'll explain it. Best thing to do is just react to it, and
Nope.
Same thing as have sex. Just get through it. Just get through it. Then you're done with it. Not even a minute in the show, and F-bombs are dropping. Hey, we made it past 30 seconds. It's all that matters.
Did we though? You dropped one right at the get-go. Right
No,
at the beginning.
the intro is over a minute long.
Okay, that's cheating.
It counts.
Nice.
So not even a minute. Yeah. Okay. So a little bit, just dust over. Oh, okay, Marcus. It snowed here. I can't tell. It looks like it's about maybe between 3 and 5 inches on the ground here. So, and it's supposedly going to be slushy snow today,
Ugh.
which is my least favorite snow because it's kind of gross.
It is.
So, but anyway, I'm having my delicious fuel up. Welcome, Pop Culture Minefield, and our sponsor is Fuel Up. This is my 4th day of using it for breakfast, and I'm loving it. I prefer it, and I if I never drink coffee again and only drink this, I'll be happy. Yes, I did. I got your email. Did you get that thing I sent you? Anybody who watched Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, knows that joke. Hey, get that thing I sent you? So, yeah, these are the final 2 episodes of 1899. I'm really disappointed because I enjoyed the ending, but it ended with making us have even more questions of what's going on.
Yeah. Fuck whoever decided to drop this.
It's somebody
We
at
deserve
Netflix.
an ending.
They should have at least given them a movie.
Yeah. They need
Yeah,
to close
6. Did I
things
get?
up.
Did you get that fax I sent you? I hope you remembered the cover letter for the TPS report. It's from another
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you come in on Sunday.
Saturday. Yeah, or Sunday. So 1890 is everything that Matrix 4 was supposed to be. I agree. Anima predicted the ending. And
I did, yeah.
I will look. I got to tell you, dude, canceling Venture Brothers was one of the dumbest things the owners did outside of making making The Flash with Ezra Miller. Warner's got its head up its ass still in so many ways. I am just I sent a message to Mike this morning. I said, I'm feeling a bit like this song. And the song I sent him was Losing My Religion when it comes to entertainment right now. And it's hard for me to give one shit about. I mean, Keith and I have put a lot of effort and talk into helping people understand the studio system, how it works, talking about what could save this, what could save that. And watching one after the other, from Star Trek, Star Wars to DC and Marvel, just one after another get just ruined by these assholes in Hollywood, these woke pricks. Just shitting on everything good. You know, they're not happy unless they're destroying stuff that other people love. They're very destructive people. And so I see these updates from Mikey Sutton and messages. I read them, and I'm not into it. I've lost the passion right now. I'm hoping I'll get it back because I've always been a cinephile. I'll always be a cinephile. But it's like I'm wanting to hyper focus on things that I find interesting, other than entertainment right now. And not when I say, I'm not saying movies or TV, but how shit gets done, because I just don't like what they're doing. I don't like what they're doing, and I think they're assholes. And it feels right now like the assholes are winning. So I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but it's really hard to do what Keith and I have been doing for 3 years. Actually, coming up on 4 years. And maintain that level of passion when you see so much bullshit happening. And you think that people are smarting up because David Zaslav seemed to get it. And then this, you know, and Tom might be right. Tom, you know, because I love Tom, and he might be right. We've talked about this, that, you know, James Gunn maybe is going to do something better than what I expect it to be. But I've hit a point where it's like when you've been in a bad relationship and you try to start a new relationship and you are gun shy and you don't want to let the walls down. My walls are all up when it comes to entertainment industry. I'm just like, man, I'm almost depressed over it. If, you know, because I get depressed. It's part of my psychological makeup with PTSD. But I've never been that way about this in my whole life. And I'm feeling that way right now. Comics are dead. The movies are dying a horrible, horrible death. It's like watching somebody you love die slowly. And that's what it feels like. Because I love film. I love entertainment. And I'm watching entertainment just slowly fucking die. And some of them are you know, it's like, because I worked in the medical field, so I see things this way. It feels like medically assisted suicide with what's going on at Warner Brothers right now. That's how it feels to me. That's the mental comparison I have. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I sent that song to Mikey this morning. This is how I feel right now. Losing My Religion by REM. And I don't want to feel that way. I don't. Well, you're saying that hasn't happened. The problem is it's actively happening. Mm-hmm. This is actually actively happening, and I'm watching it. It's, they say, like, I used to go to the car races as a kid, and I was told one day, people go to car races to see the wrecks, and I'm like, no, I like going to the car races to see the fucking race.
Oh, I'm sure
I like races.
People who go
I don't want to see people get hurt. Why would you say that? Who the fuck goes to see the wrecks? That is one of the most cynical fucking things to say about humanity. I really don't agree with that at all. People love watching people. People love watching people meet a challenge. Nobody wants to watch somebody fucking fail. I've always hated that saying. People go to races to watch the wrecks. I'm like, what a horrible fucking thing to say. And that's kind of what that falls into, Monkey. When you say that to me, it's like, no, I'm watching something happen right now. It's like watching a slow motion wreck. And it's horrifying. It's depressing. It's heartbreaking. And I want Hollywood to heal somehow. Because look, I know that Hollywood's always going to be full of assholes. It's that simple. Hollywood's been overly didactic since the onset of fucking cinema. But I like it when they meet with that fucking preachiness with at least a goddamn good story and characters I can fucking care about. These lazy cocksuckers for the last decade aren't even fucking trying. Actually, it's been longer now, since the 90s, really. They're lazy. And Hollywood executives have become these people who think that they're creative types. Like Kathleen Kennedy thinks she considers herself a fucking creative type. Her addition to anything is, like she said to Spielberg, well, maybe the boy gets the dog instead. Well, that happened way back in the 70s. It was called A Boy and His Dog with Don Johnson, a sci-fi apocalyptic film. And it's, once you do it, it's sort of like the shit I say about JJ. Once you let it be known you have a mystery box, it's no longer a mystery box. People expect it. Everybody expects M. Night Shyamalan to do his weird Twilight Zone flip ending. It becomes cliche for you. It becomes passe. It becomes something people expect. And I'm sorry, fucking mystery box is nothing more than a plot device. And plot devices don't tell a story. If Script Doctor were here, Scribelight were here, hopefully Scribelight will be in the chat, any of my writer friends will tell you I'm 100% right. Plots are a device to help you with your story, but you don't need them. And Hollywood is just chock full of fucking crappy creative people. In other words, they're not creatives. They're faux creative. Let me see. You can go create a cup of coffee. Monkey, are you calling Mexican Iron Man a shill? No. I don't know what's going on. Like couple homicide or attempted murder.
Yeah, you have to go up a few. He said Mikey's holding up the end is nice sign and you're buying into it. I unfollowed Shill because of his lies.
Oh, hold on. Let me read it. Mikey's holding at the end is nice sign and you're buying into it. No, he's not. He's doing the opposite of that. Absolutely not. You're not understanding Mikey Sutton at all. Mikey Sutton is still deep into it. And he's putting these things up there. And I'm like, I just don't care right now to even talk about it. Because Mikey is still he's looking forward to stuff. Now, if you think that, you're misunderstanding Mikey Sutton completely. Mikey's a close friend of mine. I get Mikey. Mikey is a very proactive, positive person. I'm the dick in our relationship. Tom and I are the dicks. Andre's not a dick, but he's close to being a dick. I think he would laugh if I said that. You're almost a dick, Andre. Mikey is just a very positive, proactive person. He doesn't like James Gunn, but that's a personal thing because James Gunn fucking went after him personally. So. I don't know who his partner is.
Sil.
Oh, Sil Abdul. Sil's a friend of mine, but I don't watch Sil. I love him. I support him. I share his stuff when it comes up, pops up. But I don't watch what Sil's say because I don't agree with Sil. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have good information or bad information. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that his assessment of things I don't agree with. I don't agree with Keith's assessment on a lot of things. And I hate people who think I'm a cynical douchebag because I'm not. I'm a very positive thinking person. It's how I'm able to get up every fucking day and do what I do. But the thing is I recognize shit when I see it. And I see nothing but shit coming our way right now.
So you're not a cynical douche. You're a positive dick.
Yes, I'm positively a dick. And I'm not excited about Ant-Man. I'm not excited about it because I have zero trust in Kevin Feige. I have zero trust in anything Disney's attached to. If something good... Yeah, I'm a very positive D-bag. Thank you, Six. That's when I feel the love from you. That's when I feel the love. What's that song? Can you feel the love tonight? What is it?
Yeah.
Elton John. So, I see something like 1899 get canceled. And I think previously it would cause almost a panic in me when I'd see something really good get canceled. But now I've got this ad. Well, that's par for the course. That's how I feel right now. That's par for the course. Of course, something good's going to get canceled. So, yes, we did six. We're actually going to talk about it next week. Mm-hmm. Anima and I have been watching. I watched the entire series. But I'm sitting back and down and watching it with her again.
We're halfway through right now, right?
We're halfway through. Yeah. Just finished episode 3. I will tell you this, Six, just sort of like a taste of what's going to be happening next week when we talk about it, is the show had something all the way up until episode 5. And then whatever great idea they had was absolutely blown apart by the stupidity of episode 5 and 6. It's like we're trying to do something here. I mean, they call on some of the great ones. They call on The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Who goes there? The book. There are elements of it in there. I love the fact that they have this Easter egg of this actual book that was written in the 50s called Kraken Awakens or something like that. Whatever that book is written in 53. And it's a semi-sci-fi apocalyptic novel about the sea and an intelligent being from the ocean coming up. And it's in the fucking show. They showed 2 people fucking reading the book.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really neat. They threw that in there. And you were really they were onto something. And I understand what I think is going on. I explained it to Anima last night, what I think is going on in that show. But they dropped the ball, man. They spiked the ball at the 5-yard line. If you know sports analogies, that's what they did. And episodes 5 and 6 just fell flat.
But they do stupid stuff before that.
And when I talk about it next week, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I say watch the show because there's, despite the annoyance I had, I enjoyed aspects of it. But I had problems right off the cuff, right at the beginning. I'm like, all the females that are roughnecks on this thing. I'm
So
like,
illogical.
only 5% at best of all roughnecks globally are female. That means there are a lot of fucking rigs out there with 0 females on it at all. And 35% of the cast in this show on this one rig are female.
And only two of them make sense.
And
only
the one
two.
girl, it's like Anima kept saying to me, like, what does she do?
Yeah.
I don't.
What's her purpose? Why
How
she
is she?
there? It's just
Because she
weird.
could not be a roughneck. I'll tell you that right
No.
now. It
No,
is
she couldn't.
a psychologically and physically demanding job being a roughneck. You have to have a certain kind of mindset to do that. Because you're going to be on a rig for 6 months to a year. It's a hardship tour. It's fucking hard to do. And Anima's known a few guys. I don't agree with Anima on her assessment of roughnecks. I've known roughnecks too. And they are really close to the military mindset because they bitch about things to each other. That's the thing. Like, the only people I've seen bitch more than military soldiers are fucking truck drivers when they get around each other. My God. But soldiers, we're constantly bitching about things. Fucking MREs. What do we get some chicken a la king? Goddamn. I like to have French fries every once in a while, tater tots, not mashed potato every fucking day. Yeah, this is stupid shit we complained about in the military when we got mashed potatoes too often. Dang it. Yeah, that's a tennis reference.
I know nothing about
Oh,
that.
please do 6. I'd actually like you. 6, it would be awesome if you would join us next week. I'd actually like to, you, Anima, and I just sit down and have a conversation before doing the show.
Please.
Because I think it'd be interesting to, one, before we do the show, know where we stand with each other on what we saw. Anima and I pretty much kind of agree on what's wrong with it. Because there are little tiny things here and there that annoy me. Because I can survive the stupid, because look, if you're going to do reality-based stuff, when I say that, I mean not have it on a spaceship, but have it on an oil rig. I expect you to actually know something about what roughnecks do and roughneck lifestyle. It's like I make fun of this, and you'll hear other veterans and I make fun of this. It's like when we watch a military movie like Echo 3, or in particular, because you heard Mike and I poke fun at the Hurt Locker yesterday. Both of us slammed it. It's like, that is what somebody who never served in the military fantasizes about, what it's like to be a soldier. And that irritates soldiers. And we make fun of it. We think it's stupid. It's like, well, really? That's what you think what we do? Really? Because in the end, it's just a fucking job. Saving lives, killing people. It's a job. How we approach things is it's the work. We focus on the training to get us through the day, to deal with things. Like he said yesterday, he turned and looked at his buddy was dead. And what did he do? He got right back up and fucking started doing his job. He'll grieve later. And you will grieve. Yeah. I always liked that they called them the Roughnecks in Starship Troopers. But I have all kinds of problems with even Starship Troopers, the movie, because it's not the book. It's his version of some ideas that came from the book. He would be afraid. I'm telling you. That guy is kind of a leftist socialist in real life. The director of Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
So he's not going to, he will not do Heinlein honor. He will not honor Heinlein. That movie's kind of a sci-fi parody.
No, not even that. He didn't even read the book.
Well, that's anything new. I mean, you go back and watch "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," which is nothing more than a supposed adaptation of the Odyssey. And then you find out, and I know this personally, because I'm friends with Josh Becker. And Josh Becker knows those two fucking guys, the Coen brothers. They never read the fucking book. They don't know shit about the Odyssey. What they know is a movie that they saw. And so they took the ideas of that movie and restructured it to be a Depression era story. So they miss a lot of the important elements of the actual, Homer's Odyssey. And yes, that was required reading in school, both the Iliad and the Odyssey. But I actually liked reading them. I enjoyed reading certain books that we were required to read. So, but anyway, we're a half hour into it now, so we can get the party started here.
Did you want to say the shit started?
What's this? What did he just say? Watch the anime. Are you talking about the animated film from Japan back in the 80s? I have that.
He's talking about the CGI one.
Oh, no.
It was a good show, but man, in the book, fights are depicted once or twice. It's not an action
Oh my
book.
God, Che, they absolutely screwed beef teriyaki. Absolutely. Chicken a la king, barbecued. The barbecued was it the barbecued beef or barbecued beans that I liked? I can't remember now. I think it was barbecued beans. The spaghetti wasn't bad, but chicken a la king was the best thing they made, in my opinion. That was my favorite. But once again, ate that shit. You better drink a full fucking canteen with that meal on top of whatever you were drinking. That's an additional one, because you know what I'm talking about. You will get backed up if you don't drink with those fucking MREs. 3,500 calories, those things. My God. Those are designed for intermittent fasting for soldiers who are out in the field that maybe only will get to eat once a day. What was that? I wanted to see that. According to the Coen brothers and some of these other fucking assholes in Hollywood, yes, you would, Dragon. Absolutely. Illiterate cocksuckers that they are.
Like Nate Moore.
The caffeine's kicking in now. I'm starting to feel it.
Oh, six. I have some stories that contradict that impossibility.
Okay, Six, I'm going to tell you what my brother did once. No shit, this happened. We were starving a lot of the times as kids. We were very fucking poor. And mom was always gone. And mom would take off and leave dad somewhere else. So we didn't have dad there to help us. It would just be us kids fending for ourselves. And my sister Michelle and I had a meal of mashed potatoes and nothing on it. Just mashed potatoes. Just heated up some water and made some mashed potatoes because that's all there was to eat. I used to eat ketchup and mayonnaise Doritos. You would put ketchup and mayonnaise on a tortilla and roll it and eat it. Because we were that poor and there was no food. And my brother Michael made spaghetti one night. It was pasta with ketchup. So the answer is, I will never eat that again. That was horrible.
Dude.
But here's what's funny: when you're starving as a kid, oh my God, it was so fucking good.
My sister used to love that spaghetti with ketchup and mayonnaise.
Ew.
You had to see the look in the face of my brother. That's an abomination. She was, shut up.
Oh, and overcooking spaghetti annoys me when people boil it too long and it gets big and fat. It's noodly.
Or boil it in unsalted water.
Al dente is 10 minutes.
Al
You
dente.
boil it. You boil the water, bring it to a rapid boil, and then you drop the heat down and you put the pasta in and you let it sit in that boiled water for 10 minutes and it becomes al dente. It's perfect to perfection.
I told you when you told me that the first time, I've never heard anyone cook their spaghetti like that. It's always
That's
like
how
boiling
every.
water.
Oh, because look, when you walk away from a pot and it's boiling, you always risk. Now, the rule of thumb in cooking is you have to have a wood spoon. So what you do, like if you want to walk away from boiling water and not worry about it foaming up and boiling over, you put a wood spoon over top of it.
But
No,
who walks
it's
away
curious.
from boiling noodles? I mean, the time the noodles take, I make the sauce for it. So.
But the fact is, once it reaches that peak temperature, it's not going to lose much of that temperature in 10 minutes. So once you bring it to a rapid boil, you can actually turn it off and it'll still do the exact same job.
It absolutely makes sense. It's just not a European thing, I think.
It doesn't take me 10 minutes to open the jar for the sauce. I mean,
And that's why the U.S. Discovered the atomic bomb before Europe did.
Cook from scratch, John.
I just shit all over you.
Why would I do that? There's perfectly good spaghetti sauce in the jar in the store.
I love boiling getting the tomatoes and making your own pasta sauce.
So much.
It's amazing. I also love making from scratch fettuccine Alfredo.
Man,
but I'm also a weird person that even though I do prefer ricotta cheese in lasagna, I have made it with cottage cheese. And I like it. I like that. It's really good.
Never heard of that.
Look, man, the Army had some really good stuff. I liked it when we had chicken. The chicken was always tender. It was never overcooked. And I'm talking about when the cooks would do, we would eat in the chow hall. Absolutely lost my fucking mind when they would actually be brought out to the field when we were doing FTX and shit. And they would bring their little portable grills and shit and cook for us out in the field. I met this one cook. He says, I make a good living here in the Army, but you know where I make my money? I said, where's that? He goes, I write those letters that you read in Variations and Hustler. Those little sex letters, I write them. I'm like going, and I really was broken by this. I'm like, those aren't true. I was in the Army when I found it out. I'm like, those aren't real letters? And he goes, nah, man, they hire people to write those. I'm like, oh, those fantasies. Oh, man, my poor Army heart was broken. Che, you need to check out yesterday's episode of Dangerous Nerds, man, and listen to his story, Mike's story, what happened to him in Afghanistan. It was a wow. I think it's one of my favorite shows I've ever done, talking to my buddy Mike, because he and I've been friends for a long time. And again, I thank Jeff Searcy, because I'd have never met Mike without Jeff Searcy at Wounded Warrior Project. Both of them, man, good guys.
I can't wait to have him back to talk about Wounded Warrior Project.
He's an amazing dude. I love Mike.
He is. I got to meet him after the show. He's so cool. Hi, Chris.
Yeah. When meat sits too long, it gets a little grayish, greenish color to it. You could probably still eat it. But man, yeah, I liked some of the food we got fed. I'm talking about the actual cooked food. You had potatoes at every meal, a lot of starch in the Army, a lot of starch, rice, and you'll get rice with potatoes. You'll have like a serving of rice and then also potatoes, so a double serving. And the reason why is because you burn a lot of calories in the Army when you're doing shit, just burning it. And this is the problem a lot of soldiers get into. That's what she said. Okay. You burn a lot of calories in the Army, so you eat a certain way. And the problem is, just like with everything else in the military teaches you how to do things the Army way or the Marine way or the Navy, what have you, but then don't untrain you when you leave because they don't know how to untrain you from what they trained you. So like a lot of guys, when they get out of the service, unless they keep a very active lifestyle, they tend to gain a lot of weight quickly because you're used to eating a certain way in the Army. Yeah, it's not a rice palaf, man. It's not even sticky rice. It's just rice that's sticky because it's badly made. That's the rice in the Army.
Joe is in the house.
Joe is here. You got to do a second show with Mike. We didn't even get into the recovery PTSD. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's also he was in a lot more combat, and shit happened to him in Afghanistan that I want him to talk about. And he's one of those vets that has come to terms with a lot of that stuff and is very open about it. It's like the way I've come to terms with a lot of the shit in my life, and that's why I'm so open to talk about things. And people are like, TMI? And I'm like, fuck you, TMI. This is all part of the process for me, being able to talk about it. And if people don't want to listen, they can fuck off. I'm going to talk about things. And there's no such thing as TMI with me. My rice is always sticky. I'm a terrible cook.
Six,
Man.
I'm with you. I can't really cook rice, but I don't like it anyway, so that's okay.
Yeah, you're not a fan of rice. I like it, but I actually prefer, oddly enough, I like fried rice. I like to make it with peanut oil when I cook
Fried rice
it.
is good.
I just like it with a little teriyaki sauce and or soy sauce, however you want to. Because all teriyaki sauces, a lot of people don't know this, is soy sauce with pineapple juice.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Good to know.
I'm not a fan of broccoli because, dude, man, you think
don't steam
beans
it, you
will make
roast
somebody
it.
fart?
So much better.
Eat broccoli, man, on a regular basis. You are a farty motherfucker. You will fart like crazy.
No.
And cauliflower doesn't do it to me because we were talking about this the other day, Anima and I'm like, nope, doesn't do it to me.
I eat
Broccoli
all the time and I'm fine.
Broccoli makes me run out of the room because I'm terrified of killing somebody with my gas.
I won't share my broccoli with you then.
First taste of Army pork adobo in a chow hall, and they had no rice left. To boot, the base had Filipino General. Oh, I bet that was fucking why. Hell yeah. Well, and it is, and I will tell you this, something really cool about the Army, wherever you're stationed, has a tendency of cooking food from that region, in that area, whether it's a country or a state. When I was at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, I'm going to tell you something. I had never even heard of a breakfast burrito. And I told the story to Anima. She was laughing because I was like a child at a candy store. My first chow hall morning at Fort Sam Houston, I didn't know what to do. They're like, you can have anything on that tortilla. And I'm looking at everything they had, and I was like, yes. And this little Mexican lady, I loved her. She was so sweet to me. She go, what do you want on there, darling? I said, yes, all of it. Put everything on there. She just started shoveling stuff on there. Big, gigantic tortilla. Rolled this gigantic fucking breakfast burrito for me. Never had one before in my life. And then put a little bowl of salsa. And I'm like going, are you sure this is the Army? I kept like, we get good food? I got to tell you, the best food I ever had in the Army was San Antonio. Fort Sam Houston. Wow. The breakfast, lunches, and dinners were always good. I remember one time we had this beef roast. And I mean, it was juicy. Oh. There were no tater tots in mine. There were no tater tots. That's Taco Bell and other places. Now, I got to tell you, because of the Army, when I was out in California with my unit there, we were on at McClellan Air Force Base. We had a strip mall. It was just basically, that's all it was, really, a strip mall. And it was split in half. One half was my unit, and the other half was the MASH unit. And I drove by a Taco Bell one morning. It was like, I think I'd been there about a day or two, and drove by a Taco Bell. It was open in the morning. Breakfast. I'm like, what the fuck? Breakfast? So I pulled into that Taco Bell, and they had breakfast burritos. And I had like these Homer Simpson memories of fucking, Fort Sam Houston. Oh. And then I had a Taco Bell one, and I'm like, it's not as good, but you know what? I fell in love. My first serious relationship was with breakfast burritos. That was my first serious relationship in the Army. She just leaves.
Yep.
Talking about food again. No, I made Hannah put tater tots and bacon in my breakfast burrito on Buffy. Oh, when you were working on the show? Yeah. I bet that was good. I'm a big fan of tater tots, but I won't eat them now. I will occasionally have veggie tots,
I just got up to get some tissues, you prick. I didn't leave.
You bastard. So I would, if you've never had them, they're actually really good. You can get them in the frozen food section. They are, instead of tater tots, they're broccoli and cauliflower, and they turn them into little tater tots, and it still has starch in it, carbs, but the fact is it's less than you would with a potato. Actually, technically they're a root. Carrots get classified as a veggie, but they're also a root. Here's another shocker. Tomatoes are not a veggie. They're a fruit.
They're fruit.
Yep. That's why I always laughed at Ronald Reagan considering
make salsa fruit salad.
The Ronald Reagan administration, as big a fan of him as I am, they did some things that were really stupid. And one of them was classifying ketchup as a vegetable. They really did that. It really happened. I was there. But potatoes are not technically a veggie. They're a root. Tubers. But do I want to nerd out on that? I nerd out on everything.
Well, if we are going to nerd out, vegetables, the potato being a root is part of a vegetable life form. So,
digital blackface. Thanks, Keith. Let's get into it. Let's go. So let's get going on episode 7, right?
7,
yep,
the storm. The opening scene is Daniel and Maura having sex. And after that, he tells her that he loves her and says, never forget. They talk about what reality is, because Maura says it's all in your brain, and Daniel disagrees. He says the reality is what's outside. So they can't agree on that quite. Eventually, Maura gets up to get some food, and before she leaves, he tells her again, never forget. And when she's gone, a siren starts sounding, and a voice says, initiating shutdown. Daniel is suddenly outside by the pyramid, and there's the shirt that Maura was just wearing, but it's empty. And we hear the voice, wake up, and he wakes up, but not on the ship, oddly enough. He's in room 1011, locked in without his device. Maura has it.
Also, at this point, point out what that you believe it's, and I agree with you. I think it is her saying "wake up." Yeah. Every time you hear the words "wake up," it's her.
It's always
the soft
her.
Female voice. It's her, because she is the mastermind of all that. I
predicted.
Yeah, both you and I. But it's not her father, that she is somehow behind all this. Mara's back on the ship. There's a heavy storm going, hence the title of the episode. And she looks at the locket and then rips off her necklace and stuffs it in her pocket. The other people, meanwhile, are on the bridge and they are scared to death because none of them knows how to steer the ship. So they decide to go to the engine room to find somebody who is able to steer the ship, because otherwise they are going to drown, all of them. Daniel is looking for a way to escape and breaks one of the ship hull panels off and finds a shaft that looks very futuristic because there's a lot of wires in it. And he climbs in and goes off. Mara is looking for the captain, runs into the first mate, and he's asking where the boy is. She doesn't know. She goes to the bridge, finds Mrs. Wilson there, and she's been hiding her black hand from the others. But since Mara's a doctor, she shows her and tells her she's scared to die. And Mara doesn't know what the black stuff is, but she tells her, don't be scared, you're not going to die because this isn't real. And leaves a very confused Mrs. Wilson behind and goes to find the captain. She suspects he's back in his memory. So that's where she goes, and she finds the house intact and not burnt down. And the captain's wife comes up to her and asks her if she's okay and can I help you? But things go weird and she seems to be stuck. She's repeating the same sentence over and over again. And Mara just escapes. Daniel has reached the end of the shaft, and it's other than the
Yeah,
I'll
I
keep
know.
repeating the word shaft because they are fucking shafts. I don't know how to call
We
it.
can use you can
Fuck
say
you.
tunnel. Tunnel's another word,
Tunnel. Okay, tunnel. Tunnel it is.
and it doesn't have the phrasing attached to it.
Okay. So the end of the shaft that of the tunnel that Daniel reaches isn't square and just hanging in midair, but it's round and it's closed like a bulkhead of some sort.
Is it wet and moist too? Sorry.
I am
That was-
trying to get through 2 very complicated episodes here in a little over an hour, so be helpful. Okay?
All right.
Do what you do, just sit there and be quiet. It's what he does. Great. Now I'm lost. Oh yeah, he finds a crucifix on the ground, and there's also a well, and he goes there and climbs down. People are all over the ship looking for the captain, scared to death of drowning, and the Dutch religious woman, she's staying behind. She's accepting her fate, and this is what God wants, and her husband can't leave her, so he stays behind, and they pray and eventually drown. We see that later, but I'm just finishing with them right now. Daniel has reached the end of this different tunnel. He's in an area covered in snow. There's blood on the snow, and he finds Oleg's photo of the Statue of Liberty. He just does this pantomime thing in the air, and then he reaches a wall that we can't see, and peels off around part of it and finds a new tunnel. Clemence, Tove, and the others have reached the engine room, and Tove briefs Franz about what's going on. There's a storm, nobody is steering the ship. So Franz sends Oleg, and of course Ling Yi goes with him because they're attached at the hip at this point. And Franz and Tove head out to close the bulkheads to stop the water from spreading through the ship and sinking it. And all the others have to keep the engines going no matter what. Mara is in Daniel's cabin, pushes the bed off the wall, and finds a photo of her mom on the trapdoor. We guess it's her mother because it looks like her, but an older version. So she opens the trapdoor and goes down into Daniel's memory, which is what we see at the beginning of the episode, that weird round room where they had adult fun. And there are family photos of the 3 of them, the boy, Daniel, and her. And she just doesn't remember anything. She's trying, but nothing comes to mind. Daniel is at the end of tunnel number, I don't know what, on that hill with the cross that Mara keeps going to. And he opens a kid's coffin that is now by the cross. And there's another tunnel down there to a kid's room where the boy is already waiting for him. And he says, it's happening again, right? They're shutting it down. Daniel tells him, you know, your mother needs to remember where the code is to end this loop, because that's what it is. It's a loop. It just restarts over and over and over again. And before Daniel leaves to get his device back, because he needs that to fix things, the boy gives Daniel Mora's wedding ring. The first mate, looking for the boy, goes to what looks like the infirmary and finds a device like a tablet, very futuristic, so definitely not 1899, behind the drawer, and he starts looking for the boy with that computer thing. He eventually finds him and sends a code to Singleton. Daniel is back on the ship and finds his trapdoor open, so he knows Mara is in there, and he goes to find her. And he's sorry that she had to find out like this. That Elliot is their son, and she's like, that's not possible. I lost the child and I can't have any more. And then he tells her, no, you chose to alter your memory to get rid of the pain. This is what's real. We are a family, and you chose to forget it, which hits her hard. They kiss, and we see short flashbacks. It's like stuff is there, but she can't fully access it yet. They're interrupted by a siren, and he tells her, we need to get out of here before they restart it. She still doesn't know what to believe, what he's telling her. We keep cutting to Singleton, watching all of them do what they do. So now he's watching Mrs. Wilson, who goes to find her letter in a box in her cabin. And a man enters Singleton's office with the first mate's report about where the boy is. Daniel and Mara back on the ship, and he keeps telling her to remember where the code is. So there's a code or key somewhere on the ship. It could be anything since it's a simulation. And they need that to override the program before it restarts. And then Mara really racks her brain trying to remember. And then she takes out her locket out of her pocket and finds out that it opens and there's a key inside. And she didn't know that. And she only got the locket before getting on the ship. It was in the envelope that her brother sent her. She had no idea it opened and there's a key in it. In the engine room, Lucien has a seizure. He's not been looking well in the scenes before, so now he has a seizure. And Clémence says he needs his medicine, and it's in the cabin. So Clémence and Jérôme take him to the cabin, and it's too late. He's dead. Angel and Ramiro are the only ones left in the engine room. And they keep going. They keep the engines going. Daniel takes Mara to the infirmary and shows her the hidden tablet. And she's confused. What is this? So he tells her, like in any program, there are hidden codes and cheats. And he connects his device to it and enters a code to buy them time. He tells them he's going to anchor them to the program, so they will. It's complicated computer shit, but basically he's hacking into it. We also learned that each loop lasts 8 days, and then it restarts. And so far now, none of the ships, because we've seen how many there are, none of the ships has made it to its destination, but none of the ships has made it this far either. She's really confused. There are more ships, and he tells her, like dozens and dozens, because we're all stuck and it just keeps happening and repeating. yeah, we see shutdown in 10 minutes on the display. So they are running out of time. Lin Yi and Oleg are trying to steer the ship into the waves because if they come from the side, the ship is going to sink. And all of a sudden, Lin Yi hears her mom call her out on the deck, and she goes out and she sees her. Break time.
It's the mirror. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Isn't it nice? I like that. So let me get to the video. Here it is.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the middle of the film.
Yay.
Okay, Lin Yi runs out after her mom's voice, and there she stands, and she's holding out her hand. And Oleg, of course, goes after Lin Yi and manages to snap her out of it. And they try to make it back to the helm, but Oleg is washed off of the ship by a gigantic wave. So people are dying now. The next one dying is Angel because the machines are falling apart in the engine room and he's buried under engine parts and he dies. That is also when we cut to the Dutch couple drowning. So Franz sacrifices himself because the two of them reach a bulkhead that has no handle on the outside, only on the inside. So he tells Tove to go close the remaining ones and tells her stay alive and sacrifices himself to close it from the inside. The first mate, meantime, has found Elliot and brings him to Singleton. And Singleton tells them they make the same mistake every time. They can't get rid of their emotions, and that's why every simulation fails. Daniel finds that his trapdoor is gone all of a sudden. And he hears Singleton's voice because he has a microphone and he can talk to them. And Singleton tells him, yeah, congratulations for making it so long, but your little reprogramming won't work. That won't help. You're trapped in that loop. And if you give me the key, that goes tomorrow. If you give me the key, you'll get your boy in return. So she is terrified now that she knows that her father has her son. Daniel gives her the ring and tells her that he's going to fix this. And before he leaves her, he says, I love you, never forget. Singleton shows Elliot how the pyramid opens and that there's a keyhole inside and also writing that says wake up. And tells Elliot if Mora gives him the key, he can end the loop. And then a 10-second countdown starts to shut down. And at 0, as the shutdown takes place, we see the Kerberos go down into the vortex that everybody has been talking about ever since the beginning. That's the way to the archive, where the captain is already waiting on the Prometheus. And he realizes something is happening, so he goes on deck, and he sees the Kerberos go out and all the people standing on deck, and that's where the episode ends. The remaining people, that is. So that's Tove, Ramiro, Lin Yi, Mora, Jerome, Clemence, and Mrs. Wilson. That's. Yeah.
I like that you pronounce it the same way as they say it in the show.
What?
Jerome.
It's Jerome. It's a French name.
Yeah, I know.
You know me. I'm quite particular about names, pronunciation, and also the writing, spelling.
I think that in America, people come off pretentious when they do that.
Really?
It is. It's
A name
pretentious.
is such
You
a
can
personal thing.
get away with that shit in Europe. You do that here in America, it comes off pretentious.
I'm European. Deal with it.
I just
Deal
said that.
with it.
You can get away with that.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
If you have an American that does what you just did there, everybody goes.
Yeah.
And
If
then
I
walk
do that,
away
they go like, she's
from them.
European, she's weird.
Nobody wants to hang out with those people that do that. You know, people who overly pronounce the names of things. People are like, oh,
Overly pronounced. I just
get fuck with that guy. They're going to be a problem.
Ow.
So keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. That was funny.
Oh, that's fine. I kind of sped through the episode. So I got an hour left for the last one. That's nice. I'll make sure we have time at the end to bitch about how they could drop that and not continue. Because fuck them for doing that. The Key is the name of the last episode. And it starts with Elliot and Maura on the hill, but it's not gray, as in Maura's memory. It's cheerful, colorful, sunny. And Elliot shows her a beetle that he found, and it's, of course, the green beetle that we keep seeing. And he wants to put it in a box to watch it grow. And she tells him, you won't be able to watch it grow. You have to let go. Because we have to let go of things, and tells him that eventually he will grow up and she will have to let him go. And he hugs her and says, don't be stupid. I'll live with you and that forever. Which is kind of sad when you look back after watching the whole episode and finding out what's really going on. As he hugs her, suddenly he finds himself alone, hugging an and he's outside the pyramid, and there's the black stuff growing everywhere. We hear her voice, wake up, and he wakes up in Singleton's office on a bed. And Singleton shows him the people on the cameras. He tells him they are stuck, and because they chose to forget their past, they were stupid enough to let Maura fool them, and only she can end it. And we find out what we've been suspecting for a while, that Singleton is also stuck. None of this is real. And Maura is the only one who can end it. The captain swims over to the cameras and rejoins the others. And Maura is convinced that her father is behind this and that it's a simulation, and the others don't believe her. And then she asks him a simple question. Do you remember boarding the ship? And nobody does. Nobody. And everyone also has a letter. So they are very confused, because it's scary when you try to wrap your mind around that nothing that you see and experience is real. That's not an easy thing to do. Daniel, in the meantime, is in the engine room by that weird machine and connects his device, but it won't activate. He's trying really hard, but it just won't activate. Singleton and Elliot are outside the pyramid, and Singleton is talking about how memories are a part of you and you can't get rid of them, and how it's now time for Elliot to remember. He has a device too, and uses it to change the scenery. It's very open computer simulation at this point, so no tunnels or anything. He just changes the scenery to the hospital. Yeah. On the ship, the black stuff is still spreading and faster. Maura shows them the key from her envelope, and she still believes her father made her forget this. So, and she doesn't know why all this is happening, but that key is somehow vital. Mrs. Wilson isn't buying any of this, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to leave the ship. We're going to take one of the lifeboats and just leave, and the others go with her. Even though Maura tells them there's nowhere to go. It's not real. You can't go anywhere on the lifeboat. They don't believe her. The captain and Maura go to her cabin and find that her tunnel is gone, her trapdoor. So they break the boards on the floor to find it, but there's just a black ship hull underneath there. So they go to the cabin next door, Daniel's, and his tunnel is still open. So they go down there, and the captain sees the family photos and is confused, of course, and she tells him that she can't remember any of this and nothing makes sense. But there must be some kind of logic behind it. And since she's studying the brain, she knows that memories are stored in different parts of the brain, but they're still connected. So she figures maybe the memories in this simulation are connected too. Like the tunnels are the equivalent to the neurological pathways in the brain. So she goes and tries to find one of these pathways or tunnels. And breaks a wall panel, and there's a tunnel behind it with cables inside and an electric torch, which also doesn't exist in 1899. But we're done with that anyway. None of it is real. Daniel, in the meantime, has been able to activate the machine, and something opens above it and a very futuristic thing comes down. He connects his device to it and starts coding or hacking. And the ship immediately goes to black and then back onto red alert. And the black stuff grows like crazy and moves after the people who try to get to the lifeboat. And they get separated. Linier and Ramiro are together now. Mrs. Wilson and Tove and Clémence and Jérôme are going to find the captain.
I want to pause for a second because actually Monkey said something interesting here. That it's exactly like the U.S. version of Life on Mars. Yeah, there are similarities for those of you that watched it. There are similarities, and I caught that too, Monkey. I agree. I caught that. So go ahead, hon. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's fine. It's fine. Since none of you have anything to add, I'm just doing my summary thing here. So we're
the summary. We can talk after the summary.
Yeah. Okay. Singleton and Elliot are in room 1011 in the hospital, and he's about to show Elliot his memory. And he tells him, you know, your mother believes it seems like it's Mora's prison, but it's yours, in fact. And if he's brave enough, he can show him his memory. Because memories can't be fully deleted. The body will still react to them. So they're always there. You can't take them out. You can hide them and suppress them so that you believe they're gone, but they're still there. You cannot really erase them. So he makes the boy sit in the chair and injects him with the syringe with the white stuff. There's 2 syringes on the table, one black, one white. The black one we see in every opening scene with Mora and in her flashbacks, but he injects him with the white one because that's the one to make you remember. And the black one is the one to make you forget. And Elliot finds himself strapped to the chair, and Daniel and Mora come in, and Daniel tells Mora, you need to let him go. You can't stop him from dying. And Elliot cries out to them, but they can't hear him. And Mora is not listening to Daniel. She takes the syringe and walks up to Elliot and tries to calm him. And he's shouting at her, but she doesn't hear him. And injects him with the black stuff, telling him it's okay, don't be afraid, he won't remember this. And Elliot is back with Singleton, and he tells him, we're trapped in the simulation that your mother created so he can keep you alive. And we also, find out that when she was a child, Elliot's age, she found a book about Plato's cave allegory, and it fascinated her, and it started her fascination with what is real and what is not.
I hate
It's
to
also
interrupt,
yes.
but we have a super sticker.
Oh,
There it is,
super
of course.
sticker!
Thank you.
Darius Munchausen. Again, Darius Munchausen is the safest Munchausen for children. He gives us a $4 super sticker. Can anybody see what it is? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a beer with the coffee.
It's always that.
There we go. The pair with the coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you so much, sir.
Speaking of coffee.
Yes, I'm almost out of my drink, so
I'm under-caffeinated
I need to consider
today.
doing something here myself. But let me get to a thank you video for him. What should I play for? Oh, absolutely. RoboCop.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good.
Not only that, a good friend
What?
has been a member for 14 months.
It's hard to believe
Over a year.
we're pop culture technically is about to leave the toddler stage. We're still a toddler show, you know. Next year, well, technically 2024.
We are
2024.
Midnight Edge Junior.
We will. We will be kindergarten age. Midnight's Edge is actually already started first or second grade because we were watching them for a year before we launched our show. Over a year.
Do you think they're a proud parent?
All I know is this is the actual quote from Andre. I guess I should have won a condom.
Oh, God.
In reference to our show. Because, we refer to ourselves as Midnight's Edge Jr.
Yeah, I imagine them looking at horror at what you're doing. Look at what we've done. We started this. Oh, my God.
Is my mic popping?
No?
Not anymore.
Oh.
I didn't hear it popping.
Yeah. Hopefully it stopped. But go ahead, hon.
What is that? He tells Elliot how reading Plato's cave allegory triggered all this. What is reality? Because the cave allegory, in case you don't know, is you're looking at shadows on a wall. What's real is behind you. That's when the first mate comes in and tells Singleton that Daniel is hacking the mainframe to wake Mora up without the key. And that's where the simulation goes crazy. Because people are now in other people's memories. Because walls open, scenery changes, shit goes crazy. Jérôme and Clémence are on Lingyi's boat, where she poisoned that girl. And they hear Lucien's voice from inside the box and go to open it, but only black stuff comes out and does crazy shit. Moves and spirals and things like that. Ramiro and Lingyi come out at that well with a crucifix on the ground. And they go to the well and pull up a box, and we hear Mei's voice call out to Lingyi, and she's horrified. So Oleg drops the box, and Lingyi runs off. And the scenery changes. She's in that snowy area and finds Oleg's photo. And she goes over to some kind of tank and opens it. And Oleg comes out covered in oil. And he's not talking. He's just opening a round tunnel in midair and climbs in, and she goes after him. Ramiro stays behind. He hears Angel from the well, so he climbs in to find him. Singleton and Elliot are watching, and he tells Elliot, your dad will always choose Mora over him, and how he betrayed him. Really evil psychology there. And Daniel is done with his coding, and they watch him walk across the ship. And Elliot is just heartbroken to find out all this, that his parents created this and were lying to him. And it's sad. The captain and Mora, they are in Tove's field at first, and then in Mora's memory. And she's still so convinced that Singleton is behind this. They need to go and find his office to fix things, I guess. Mrs. Wilson and Tove are in Jérôme's memory, and they're terrified. And Mrs. Wilson looks really bad. The black stuff is spreading. It's like on the side of her neck now. And all of a sudden, in front of them, they see the ship's corridor with the red light. So they go there. The first mate finds the captain and Mora in the mental hospital and asks him for the key and tells them he really needs the key because the simulation has been corrupted. And the captain is, of course, shocked to find that the first mate is also in on this. Mora gives him the key, and he deactivates the captain and takes Mora to Singleton's office, where Singleton is with Elliot. And she accuses him of being the mastermind behind all this, and why would you do that? And he tells her that she is the creator. He uses his device to change the scenery to room 1011, and she's being forced into a chair. She's wearing the hospital gown now too. And the two guys we see in her flashbacks, they force her into a chair and tie her down. And after telling her that she is the creator behind all this, Singleton injects her with the black stuff, so she forgets. Then they are back in his office with the key now, and Singleton inserts it in the keyhole in the pyramid, but it's not working because Daniel has changed the code. And because he has changed the code, Maura isn't waking up on the ship or on the restart of the simulation, but on the hill, and she's wearing her wedding band. And there's a weird light by the cross, so she goes there, and the tunnel to the kids' room is open. So she climbs down, and Daniel joins her shortly after and tells her that it worked, what he did. There's no new simulation. They are back in the first simulation. That's the first one that they created to keep Elliot alive. People in the engine room see the simulation falling apart in front of their eyes, and we hear a voice with a countdown. And at 0, we see the ship just dissolve. Daniel and Maura. Daniel tells Maura how he reprogrammed, because all the objects and symbols and whatever, they're just codes. So he wrote a new code so the black syringe isn't making her forget, but putting her back there to the first simulation. And the pyramid and the key are useless because he reprogrammed that too. And he takes a toy pyramid and opens it, and it says in colorful letters, "Wake up." And there's not a keyhole, but a round thing. And she has to put her wedding band there. That's the new key. He also tells her that her brother, Kieran, has taken over the program and that she needs to stop him. She inserts the ring in the pyramid and blackout. And as she wakes up in a pod, very futuristic. There are other people around her also in pods, asleep. So yeah, we were right about the Matrix. Absolutely. She goes over to a window and looks out, and she's in space on a spaceship. We get to see it from the outside too. It's very cool. She finds a note that says, "May your coffee kick in before reality does." And then a message on the screen pops up. It's her brother. And he says, "Hello, sister. Welcome to reality." And this is where it ends. And I'm pissed. Silence. John, say something. I've done all the talking.
Well, you told me to be quiet.
I'm finished now. You can talk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she finds that terminal, and it's got the note with that really cool saying, "May coffee kick in before reality does."
Yeah. That was also in the nautical books.
Yes. And it explains that they're on a survival mission, that there's 1,423 crew or passengers, 550 crew, and it's October 19th, 2099.
So nobody was an NPC.
And yeah, nobody's an NPC. They're all passengers. And then there's their message from Sierra, and it says, "Hello, sister. Welcome to reality."
Is it though? Is it reality? It could be another simulation.
That's the thing that was bugging me, was that how do we
never
know
find
this?
out?
We'll never know now.
The curious thing is that apparently the brother is the villain. He is. He has gone rogue and decided to mess with everybody's head.
Yep.
Yeah, he's taken over. The moment she went in, he took over.
Yeah. And also, you notice who's not in her pod.
Mm.
Daniel's not in her pod. Neither's the first mate or...
Well, we don't see all of them. We see some of them in pods, but we see
you would
empty
think Daniel
pods.
would be in her pod, though.
No, I think he should be outside in order to hack the program.
Yeah, I mean, we see an empty pod and we can only guess that it's his.
I thought that was hers.
No, she's in her pod and leaves it, but we see another one that's empty.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that was still hers.
No, I think it's another one.
Well, if that is, that's probably Daniel's, and that makes sense.
Yeah. But still, it opens up so many more questions, and we don't get answers to that, and it annoys me. It really does. I would be okay with this being a finale, knowing there's another season coming, or at least a movie. But at this point, just hoping that somebody picks it up and does something leaves me very unsatisfied, I have to say.
There's so many cases like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you're watching. Oh, I was thinking about that show. A show with Dominic Purcell.
That was Life on Mars, wasn't it?
What?
Wasn't he in Life on Mars?
No. Well, I didn't see the
Mara was
Existence.
Jason Mara was in Life on Mars.
No.
Let's see which one are you talking about?
I have no idea. Hi, Max.
It's John Doe. Yes, Larry Munchausen was John Doe.
John Doe. That was it. John Doe. Yeah. That was a good show. I like that show.
And that ending and cancellation left me go, why? But, you know.
Yeah, that was dumb because it was actually one of the best Friday shows.
And
they had that stupid profiler show on NBC, and Fox had that one, and it was really good.
They canceled it.
I'd never seen it.
Substituted by one of the Paris Hilton shows. Go figure.
Ugh. We can't have good stuff anymore.
Stop making stupid people famous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows that I think for this first season you never leave it off in a cliffhanger because you never know if you're going to get a second season.
You shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't.
Space Above and Beyond, man.
You should only do a cliffhanger when you know you're going to continue the story.
I will never get over Space Above and Beyond.
Firefly.
Yeah, Don's been watching it, rewatching it. It's such
Firefly got a movie though.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. But Space Above and Beyond was better than Firefly.
Although part of me doesn't want to acknowledge that movie.
Yeah,
why?
Me too.
Because
it seems like a different timeline.
Yeah, well,
it's not
a
just
favorite
that.
character gets killed.
It's not just that.
And by the way,
like
to the milkshake comment that was in the chat, I got this video just for the response to Pop Culture Minefield being made from a sperm milkshake.
To the sperm milkshake.
There you go.
What?
That's from the movie Twins with
Okay.
Arnold
I love that movie.
Julius.
Who said something about sperm milkshake?
Who's in the chat? Let's see if I can find
didn't
it.
catch it.
Hold on.
This one. We're here.
Andre said that. Talk about injecting someone with white stuff from a syringe. And it's absolutely a reference to, intentional or not, to Twins.
Ah.
And I love that movie. We need to watch that, by the way, Anima. I bet you've never seen it. Arnold doing comedy is fucking good. He's actually really good at comedy because he's so serious when he does it. That's the thing that makes him funny. It's sort of like Leslie Nielsen. You know, he's not trying to do comedy. I think one time he did comedy where it was really funny, again, was because he's being sincere, was when he's telling in Kindergarten Cop, and he's telling the person, "You don't understand. I have no life. This is all I'm going to do is follow you. I'm going to follow you all the time. I have no life. That fucking cracked me up.
Yeah, we
and
can
that's
try
really
and find time to watch it. Why not?
Junior, I like the movie, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Twins or Kindergarten Cop.
Is Junior the one where he's pregnant?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a funny movie. It is funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Absolutely funny. But it is nowhere near as well written as Twins or Kindergarten Cop. And Kindergarten Cop slays me to this day. I can watch that thing and just fucking love it.
Yes, Jeebus. I'm not an alien.
Well,
although people do ask me what planet
Jeebus,
I come
on the
from.
other hand, I suspect he's got some alien in him.
I do get asked the question.
Or he likes some alien in him.
When I tell people I don't like chocolate.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That makes me.
You're from Vienna and you're a female.
Yeah, and I hate shopping and chocolate. No, I don't hate chocolate. I just take it away. I'm fine.
Well, and it's really weird, you know. I fucking love chocolate, man. Last night.
You have a sweet tooth.
It's not the sweet tooth. I have a chocolate tooth. I need chocolate. Last night before bed, I made scratch pudding. I like making chocolate pudding from scratch. It's really easy. People think, oh, it's complicated.
No, making pudding is so easy.
Very easy. I mix the powder up first. It's a mixture of baking cocoa, sugar, or I use Splenda, cornstarch, and it's about a 1-to-3 ratio. With cornstarch is 1-to-3 ratio. So 3 tablespoons of cocoa, 1 heaping teaspoon or tablespoon of cornstarch. Then you add half a cup of sugar or a full cup of Splenda, because they say it's 1-to-1. It's not. You need a full cup to a half cup when you're wanting something to taste right. And then you add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and but you mix the powder up first. Then you add 2 3/4 cups of milk and a teaspoon of vanilla, and you mix it up really good. Break up because the thing that's really sucks is real baking powder, baking cocoa, is hard to break up into milk, man. It wants to create those little chocolate bubbles, and you got to break them up and put it under a medium heat or over a medium heat and keep stirring or whisk it. And I'm telling you, man.
You don't use eggs? I learned a different recipe for
I only use eggs when I'm going to make a custard. If I'm going to make custard, then I add it. The cornstarch does everything you need. And the best part of this, and Zoe, my daughter, fucking loved this. And she still makes her own pudding for this reason. That when you make it this way, you get such a thick chocolate skin on top of that pudding. And as a kid, that was my favorite thing to fucking eat. Was the skin off the top of the chocolate pudding as it started to cool down.
Look at what there is saying.
Again, milk, box, powder, mix, fridge, done.
Tastes so much better when you make it from scratch.
You know, when you say Wiener, it actually means Vienna.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. And next week on Cooking with Gerry, Dustin,
Keto Simple.
Keto Simple and I have talked about doing a cooking show for keto that's not just keto, but keto friendly. Because people go, well, you use cornstarch. I say, yeah, but the signature of cornstarch compared to flour is smaller. People go, yeah, but cornstarch has more carbs in it than flour. I said, but you use less of it.
So it's the same.
No, it's less. It's less carbs than using flour. Use a lot more flour to get the thickening.
Yeah.
With cornstarch, you don't have to use that much.
Also, it doesn't taste of anything, and flour you can taste.
You can taste it. You can also, if you don't cook it all the way, you can feel it in your mouth. It's very gritty. Don't like
it.
Like your pancake the other day.
Gluten free.
Yeah.
You're gluten free, or at least I was told.
Are you talking to my wife again?
Your wife is awesome, man. Your wife is awesome. But no, I've talked to Dustin, and I would really love. There's just no time right now.
No.
But down the line, I would like to do maybe once a month keto cooking, with Keto Simple. Dustin. Wait, what?
About the Reno earlier.
Oh, well, a lot of people don't know that, though, buddy. A lot of people don't know it.
How
But
can you
anyway,
know that the real name for Vienna is Wien? I thought that's common knowledge.
We're
Because
American.
Vienna has a lot of famous.
Americans don't give two fucking shits. It's like,
Yeah, but
you Americans are heathens. You're
Wien has a
uncultured
lot
heathens.
of famous people.
And then we just sort of look up and go, almost 90% of everything awesome in your house was created here. And that's all we say. That's all we say. It's like, we don't fucking pay attention to shit that doesn't matter. And it's a thing. It is really a thing with Americans. It's like, I don't want to say that it doesn't matter to some level, but Americans have a tendency of focusing on things that will move things along.
That's what I just said, Darius.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's exactly what you just said. Look at Darius echoing Anima. I bet he cheated on tests.
I did.
It's a copying other people, looking over. They got C. I'll circle C.
That was the only way for me to get through computer class because the teacher was so bad.
Well, when I took
people would correct her all the time, so it was impossible to learn from her, and I just didn't understand.
I still had like the third highest test scores on the SATs. And I would get near the end of a test and we're running out of time and I got bored. One or the other. It's like I was either bored or I was running out of time. And I would just start filling in circles at the end. And I'd still got the third highest in my class. Jim Woodward, I think, had the highest in our class. And I can't remember who had second. And then I was third highest on the SAT scores. And that includes even PSATs, which is the pre-SATs. You don't know what that is in Europe, do you?
The English have a similar.
The SAT is very similar to the college placement test. It's very similar.
Not a thing where I grew up, where I went to school. Different
system. Do they still have those, John, today?
They have the SATs, yeah.
Yeah.
They have.
SAT testing is still a thing.
Although, depending on what school you're trying to go to, your race makes a difference. You get like bonus points if you're a certain race, and you get penalized if you're another race.
You get penalized. That just sounds perverted.
Yeah.
I was penalized. I got to tell you something else about tests with me, man. When I took the ASVABs, I was the highest score over a period of, I think they said 4 months. When I took my military battery exams, ASVABs. And there are parts of that test, they don't tell you this before you take it, that you don't have to take. Like the engineering part, mechanical engineering and all that stuff. There are additional tests. They don't tell you that. So I just kept going. And I finished the test before everybody else. And I took all of those tests, like how to complete a circuit, all that shit. And I still got I had a score high enough to be a fucking helicopter pilot, not a jet pilot. But then I said to the recruiter, flying a helicopter is harder than flying a jet.
Yeah.
It's a far more complicated process.
Yeah.
But okay.
Jets are more expensive.
Yeah, it's like, because one's lift versus drag and the other one's just pure lift. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Because I took science. I understand the difference between lift and lift versus drag. And and I said that to the recruiter. And then she's like, I'm going to get you into, down at Fort Hood, get you into Apache training. And I went, no, I just want to be a medic. I've fucked her day. I've fucked her day.
She must have been so disappointed.
She was so excited that, she's like, I've never had anybody that tested as high as you. I'm like, awesome. So I can be a medic. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, I was in the 99th percentile.
And yeah, it's like I'm not surprised, John. You're a pretty smart dude. My friend Dave's brother is a helicopter test pilot.
Test pilot? That sounds exciting.
Well, what that means is that he works on experimental helicopters.
That's what I mean. Interesting.
Which is, it's like, it's always bothered me that I just forgot his name. God damn it, he just died. Sam Shepard. We just lost him. That played the real pilot, and we lost him too not that long ago. Chuck Yeager.
Yeah.
Chuck Yeager was the single probably greatest test pilot in the history of the military. And the guy still wasn't good enough to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think there was politics involved in that.
I know there were politics because you pissed people off in the military and probably in government.
Well, just like a good test pilot should.
You just absolutely, you didn't get a better pilot than him. He survived things that other pilots wouldn't survive. They would have died because of his skill set. He was amazing when he got on that fucking joystick, man. His control of the X-1. There's no other word. I can't switch it out. But anyway, test pilots are gutsy dudes, man, because they know that's one of the highest risks of their job. It's more than just a regular pilot. Pilots know that that's a potential risk. With test pilots, they know it's the main risk of what they're doing is that they may go down in flames and die testing this up. They're gutsy dudes, man, and women. Men and women both are test pilots. Could have been a veterinarian in the Army. Who could have been? Hey, here's something a lot of people don't know. Did you know that veterinarians and psychiatrists both have to first have their MD in human medicine before they can move on? Do you know that?
I didn't know that about vets, but I knew that about psychiatrists.
Veterinarians cannot become veterinarians until they become a doctor of human medicine. They have to. So
it's harder to be a vet? Wow, I didn't know that.
That's why I find it fun when they show a veterinarian saying, when they have to do something to a human, that they have. It's like, no, you can fucking do this. You got your first MD in that. So, Gerry is just a brave, knowing how savage we will be. Alex reminds me I need to watch The Right Stuff. Absolutely, don't watch that series. It failed the book. The book is better, and the movie is the book. I love that.
Read the book by Tom Wolfe.
Tom Wolfe's book is amazing. Well, it's got more detail.
Oh yeah.
But all the scenes that are in the book are in the movie. It's just there's more detail. And so the book there is only better because of the detail. I love that fucking movie because he did such a great job with that film. I love that movie.
I need to put that back on my reading list.
The cast was amazing. Ed Harris, fucking Shepard, Scott Glenn.
Yep.
And oh my God. And the guy with the mug face, Fred Ward.
Yeah.
Just the casting.
Rest in peace.
It was a major casting coup. It really was. Everybody really reminded you of the actual astronauts. Facially, in their mannerisms, they had it all down. It was great. I love that fucking movie. I really do.
Oh yeah.
And Shepard got onto my radar because of that movie. He was so good playing Chuck Yeager. Oh, I just heard a pop. Was that my mic?
It's Martine.
Oh.
I've been watching it, and every time it pops, you can see his the little see it around his avatar.
Hey, if you're a slow avatar, are you an avatared?
Oh my God.
Speaking of Avatar, did you hear who the next who you're meeting in 3? In Avatar 3?
I'm not going to watch Avatar 2. I have no idea.
Who
is
Avatar
it?
2 wasn't that bad. The Fire
Is it his
Navi.
brother? The what?
The Fire Navi. So we've got an Air Navi, the Fire Water Navi, and now we're doing the Fire Navi. And next we're going to eat, and I guess in 4 we're meeting Earth Navi, so he can make his own Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'm going to do a hand gesture here.
Yeah.
James Cameron. I love Joe Rogan for calling him out. And in fact, there was an expert on this stuff, biology, that explained, because Cameron said that testosterone is a toxin and we need to get rid of it. And a biologist stepped up and said, women produce more estrogen than men. But you know what else they produce more of than estrogen? Testosterone.
What?
Women.
Really?
Women have more testosterone in their body than estrogen. They just happen to have more estrogen than us, which then I said, doesn't that mean that they have more testosterone than us? And he goes, no, stop it, Gary. Anyway. So
you heard that a lot over your life, haven't it? No, stop it, Gary.
Oh, fuck it, dude. You have no idea.
He hears it from me all the time.
I think, because Jim Woodward, Mike Beatty loved Mr. Woodell. I did too. I loved him with all my heart. That man hated me. He was one of my favorite teachers. He taught history. He fought in D-Day. He fought in the hedgerows in country. He was a ranger. And, but he fucking hated me, man. And because I had problems when I was younger. My problem was that I was being forced to do too much. I had to take care of my dad. He was disabled. I was working full time, 40 hours a week, plus going to school, and to pay bills for my dad, help my dad pay for rent and buy food. So I've been an adult since I was like 14. And, but Mr. Waddell didn't understand my sense of humor. And like one time he's like, what is the most significant thing you remember about Adolf Hitler? My hand would go up and he didn't want to call on me. He would just wait for somebody else to raise their hand. And then finally,
because you were going to say he has one ball.
I said, what? No, I said one nut. I mean, that he was a nut, but he also only had one nut. So both. And he would just,
by the way,
this is his look. This is the look he would give me.
Yeah, we have a breach.
Oh, we do? All right. This is the look that he would give me. He would just turn and just go.
Really? Man, I feel so sorry for all your teachers.
Well, I had one 9th grade geography teacher. She kicked me out of class on day 1. We got our books handed out to us, geography books, and I'm flipping through it. And then I said, "Hey, Miss Jackson," and that was her name, Miss or Mrs. I can't remember. Miss Jackson, how do you pronounce the capital of Florida? Is that Miami, or Miami? She goes, "It's Miami." I said, "No, it's Tallahassee, and you're teaching geography?"
Yeah, it is. And
there you go.
Yeah.
I was a tormentor because I wanted to fuck with the teachers. But I found out later part of the problem was that I was smarter than a lot of the teachers. And so therefore I was bored.
That's not difficult. A lot of teachers
I would get bored. And so therefore I would it was a borderline between the shit that was going on in my home life and trying to deal with the boredom. And I wasn't lashing out, but it is a form of lashing out with my humor. And I would just say funny things that would crack everybody up in class. But then I get in trouble for it. And I was a bit of a troublemaker.
Yeah. My 4th grade teacher literally threw a book at me, Ms. Brizendine, not Mrs., not Miss, Ms. Brizendine. And she got pissed off because I kept correcting her.
Yeah. Now, this lady is still alive. My art teacher, because I see Monkey Jeeves, what you said. Let me tell you what happened to me. Johnny Johnson, we just lost him. He just died. That man was a god to me as a kid. He understood my artistic needs, and he challenged me every time he was my art teacher. He was the head of the art department. But one time, for a semester, I had another art teacher that worked under him. Mrs. Brittle. She owns a gallery in Fredericksburg to this day. I don't like her. I still don't like her. And because I refused to do what she wanted me to do, because Johnny Johnson spoiled me by challenging me as an artist. I didn't have to do what other kids. Craig didn't either. Craig Edwards, who used to help produce this show. Craig and I were two of the artistic students that he would make us do other things that were more challenging.
I thought you said autistic there for a second.
Artistic, you motherfucker. And
by the way, we have a double penetration of the back door.
Okay, I'll get to it in a second. I just want to finish this. So here's what happened to me, Monkey Jeebus. Mrs. Brittle made me take the table desk out into the hallway, and I sat there and got a 0 for the semester. Johnny Johnson talked to her and told her not to do that, and she rejected his theory that I should be challenged because I was more artistic than other students, as was Craig. Now, Craig played with the system. He worked with Miss Brittle. I refused. And that's why I am the way I am. Here you go. For the breeches, you get 1.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges, I'll show you my key.
Pam, why do you have underpants with a Swiss flag on them?
Swiss? Those aren't Swiss. Those are, they're from the Red Cross. They're defective. Anyway, me safe house, A2 safe house. I'm gonna check the back door.
There you go, for the breeches.
My parents would have been, well, my mom would have, she would have thrown a fit because when Miss Brizendine threw that book at me and I went home and told her, she was up there the next morning just giving them hell.
My dad didn't get involved until I threatened to knock out Mr. Blaylock to his face. He was our vice principal. He was the vice principal, but basically the principal is like the school administrator for that school. And the vice principal is the one who usually deals with the students when you get to high school. And so he was dealing with me, and he made an allegation to my face that I was doing drugs because I just happened to be friends with the potheads. So it's guilt by association, and I was boxing at the time. I was boxing Golden Glove, and I was not one to be fucked with. And I looked at him, I said, "What?" And he said it again. And I stood up, and he started to stand up. He put his hands on the arms of the rest of his seat and started to stand up with me, telling me, he's like about to get in my face. And I said these exact words to him. I said, "You stand up and I'm going to hit you harder than you ever been hit in your life." And he sat back down because I was scary. And I know I can be scary. I know it.
Oh, yeah.
And he sat down and he looked at me and says, "You need to calm down." And I said, "You need to go fuck yourself." And I walked out of his office, and I miss her so much. Mrs. Mount, she was sitting in the office that day because the regular secretary was out. Miss Mount was the head librarian for the school system. And I loved her. We were friends all the way to our death. I feel bad for what I did. I walked out there and she was sitting at the desk and she stood up and went, "Gerry," because I slammed his door in his face. And I'm in the outer office now. His office was inside the office, an office within an office, a hat on a hat. And I looked at her and she said, "Gerry." And I grabbed her. I feel so awful I did this. I grabbed her desk and I just went, boom, real quick. I jerked upward with it. Everything went flying in the air. It was really beautiful. And she jumped back and scared the shit out of her.
Cool woman.
And all the fucking bad kids. I wasn't a bad kid. And all the bad kids go, "Whoa!" They were doing that shit in the office. And I turned around and said, "Shut the fuck up." And they all got quiet and walked out. And I left and I never came back. I
was the first 2 years of high school. We used to joke I had my own express lane to the assistant principal's office because doesn't matter. As soon as I come in there, it's like I was the next one in, no matter what. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 kids waiting. It's like,
right.
All right, John, get in here. What happened?
I had the guy, Mr. Because like a lot of the students, Jim Woodward and Mike Beatty liked this Mr. Burt. They liked him. Yeah. I didn't. We had a physical altercation one day. I was talking too loud in the hallway after exams. I finished my exams and was at my locker with Bennett Sumner, still one of my oldest friends. Actually, I've been friends with him probably longer than any human being because I've been friends with him since 1974. And Bennett is standing there with me at my locker, and I'm talking to him. And all of a sudden, Mr. Birch is standing there, and he goes, "Hey, you guys need to be quiet and get out of here. Exam's still going on." I said, "Okay." And so I started, and I kept talking to Bennett as I'm finishing my locker. He said, "I mean, you need to go now." And I turned and looked at him. I said, "I'm getting my books and stuff." He says, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Gerry, I'm in one of your classes. I'm Gerry Cassell." And he grabs the book out of my hand and opens it to the front to see if that's really my name. And that was it. It was on. I closed the book in his face and I pulled it back away from me. I said, "You got a problem?" And man, oh man, he's like, "We're going to the office." And so I'm like, "Fine, let's go." And I grab my book bag and I'm following him down. And he goes into the guidance counselor office, which was empty. Lights were off. And he opened that door and I'm like, "I'm not going in there with you." He goes, "You're coming in here right now." I said, "Like hell I am. Fuck you." I said, "I have no idea what you have intended for me in there, pervert." Bennett left very quickly at that point because he was walking along behind us. He just hauled ass because he knew she was about to go down between Birch and me. And Birch was a lot bigger than me at that point. He was a huge guy. I called him Wally Walrus. That fucking guy looked like a giant fucking walrus of a human being. And he's like, oh. And I said, "Seriously, I don't want to be molested by you." I said, "I'm leaving." And I left, and there was nothing he could do. He just stood there like a deer in headlights with what I said. He had no idea how to react to that. He just hated me. Teachers, I think there was only like 2 or 3 teachers that liked me. The rest of them hated me, and it made me feel bad because I didn't hate them. I just had problems with them. I honestly, I thought they were stupid with some of the shit they would say. I also disliked the fact that they interacted too much with the cliques, however you want to pronounce that. You know, they love to talk to those rich kids, you know, get in there and get all chummy with them. And it was repugnant behavior. I didn't like it. We all saw it. All of us did. All us poor kids watched that shit and we were just like, "You motherfuckers." And they didn't like the fact that I did a report. Yeah, if anyone grabbed my crotch or ass during wrestling, oh my God, Jeebus, you're a fucking asshole. I love you, dude.
As somebody that wrestled, that happens quite a bit. It's
there's a lot of
tactic.
crotch on ass in wrestling. I mean, that's how you start a wrestling. It's just in a position of doggy style. Anyway, but
that's after the initial.
I did that report on our school because Time Magazine, Newsweek, one of those magazines did an article, an essay about how you could grade your school. And the way you test your school is to see the number of people failing to the number of people, or with low grades to the number of people that are leaving the school compared to the percentage that you're supposed to teach.
Yeah.
And because only a small percent, like 20% of your students to 30%, absolutely have to have a teacher. The rest of them could be cafeteria style. They'd be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if that percentage of dropout to fail rate is close to that same number of people who need the teachers are failing. And our school failed. All our teachers got enough. So I guess that's the end of the show for us today.
Before you jump into the names, I would like to answer Bill Barkley real quick. Yes, there's a sequel to Afterlife. It's called Ghostbusters Firehouse, and it comes out in December.
I have not seen confirmation for it, though. I've been looking for confirmation. Show me confirmation, because I like that poster. I shared it, but I don't see any confirmation for it. So I want to thank Penny for being here, first one in the house, D. Bud Martin, Real Wade Nation, Marcus A., Munkachibus, Dragon Ruse, Six, Sagacious Six, Jedi Six, Keely Chow, Cavatino Cavalryman Che, Christopher Moonlight Production, Joe's Atmosphere, Brett Cowan, Bush McFadden, Alex Moore, Bill Barkley, and the Peter Vickman fan site. Peter Vickman fan site, would you check and see? Because I am curious if that was official, because I can't find a confirmation for it on that poster that was released today. And it's on my Facebook page. I haven't shared it on Twitter yet through Pop Culture Minefield, but we'll get to it eventually.
Gerry,
yeah, man.
Ernie Hudson
like
confirmed.
to address this?
Oh, sorry.
That is our cue that we are a minute from.
Well, one, it is the cue.
Commercial
Two,
break.
that's my music. Play it some more,
Yeah.
Martin.
That's,
right up.
basically, we're training for what's going to happen on the radio. We have to be on time.
Yep. I'm going to turn it up a little. Oh, you have to turn it up. I can't turn it up on my end. I like the drums on this. Who's that drummer? Oh, it's me.
You always have good drums.
Confirmation.
Oh, is it in there?
I've shared it.
Yeah, but the poster is what I'm asking.
Well, I don't know about the poster, but no, that he confirmed that he's going to be back along with
as far as
Paul Rudd,
title,
Barry
because it's
Coon.
still untitled to my knowledge.
Oh, okay, talking about the title, yeah.
Yeah,
Codename
Firehouse is what's...
It's the code name is what it is. So it's still maybe something different.
I think that's a fan-made poster.
Yeah, it probably is. It was probably Boss Logic or something. But no, the movies definitely happen. It's just whether it's called Firehouse is the question, I guess. But no, it's supposed to come out December 23rd. And why am I still sharing? Sorry.
Now wait, did they share the poster?
No, they didn't share the poster. No,
I'm talking to Peter Vickman fan site. But again, the working title is Firehouse because that's the new managing control center. It's yeah. I'm really engaged with what they're going to do. I'm hoping we need to, because if Bill Murray has his way, he and Dan will do 2 more movies and they will die. They will sacrifice themselves to save the earth so the others can carry on the legacy. And I think that's a great idea. Great fucking idea. So, yeah. All right. So that's it. I thanked everybody. I want to thank Anima Confusa for being the love of my life. Martin Acosta Santana for being the other love of my life. And John for doing his best to be the other love of my life.
No, I'm just
new
here to
outro
stay quiet.
credits are coming, and when they do come, you're going to go, ooh, it came, and you go, ooh, that's gross. And you know, I'll play this video because this is fitting to that comment. Boy, that's a long list.
To the sperm milkshake.
There you go. I'm having a brain fart. That's the end of the show, guys. Keith will be.
Wait. I'm putting your music channel on the chat. Give me a second.
Oh, okay. Cohen's Ghost on YouTube. You can go listen to a lot of my music. If you want to buy my music, look up Cohen's Ghost.
That's you, John, right?
And the music stops. So that's it, guys. Have a great day. Remember, tomorrow morning with Keith, and then TGIF tomorrow afternoon, and then Saturday morning on Saturday, and then Sunday, a new episode of Dork Side of the Ring with Joe's Atmosphere and Dork Night, and their friend Johnny Rock is going to be there. And this John will be there doing Martin's job, managing the show. Did you guys see the new? Before I go, I could actually show that. I guess the new intro for it. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Oh wait, nope, that's the old one.
That's
I haven't
the old
uploaded
one,
it.
yeah.
I got to upload the new one.
Yeah,
I'll show you after the show. Anyway,
okay.
I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye now, y'all.
Hi, everybody.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the
Six,
show,
I really hope you
please
come
make
on
sure
next
to
week.
like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell
Actually,
icon
she needs
for
to jump on
updates
with
on
us
our shows and
in
channels.
the studio just
Also, please leave a comment,
I'll send her an
and
invite
we'd
if
like
she
to
can
know
join us.
what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make
See
sure
you later,
to visit
Wade.
our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
Oh yeah! That's all, folks.
Back now. You hear?